Hey loggers, I want to thank you for your support so far. Together we can build a wonderful community and expand this creepy universe even further. Help me reach 500 subscribers. Something very big is coming. Now without further ado, when we reach 500, the next door opens. What waits beyond is something I can't face alone. Join the logs. Stay aware. Stay afraid. Let's dive into today's story. When I was a kid, there was a house on the edge of my town that no one lived in. Not abandoned in the usual way. Not boarded up. Not vandalized, not even dusty. Just waiting. The grass was always trimmed, the windows spotless. And every night, no matter the weather, a single light glowed in the upstairs hall. No one ever saw anyone go in or out. I was 17 when I first stepped inside. Dared by friends, drunk on cheap beer, heart pounding. The air wasn't stale like I expected. It was warm, heavy, like someone had just left. And then the strangest part, the house looked lived in. Magazines sat neatly stacked on the coffee table. Fresh fruit in a bowl on the counter. There was even a cup of tea steaming gently on the kitchen table. But no one was there. We split up. Bad idea, I know. I wandered upstairs, drawn to that glowing hall light. Every door I passed was slightly ajar. Inside each room were versions of my bedroom. Not exact copies, not like someone had stolen my furniture, but close enough to hurt. The posters were ones I used to have. The blankets were ones my mother had thrown out years ago. Even the lamp with the crooked shade I broke as a kid. It was all there, but aged wrong, like snapshots of lives I never lived. When I reached the last door, I heard something. Breathing, not from behind me, from inside the walls. Slow, dragging inhales, like the whole house was alive. And then, as I turned the knob, I heard my own voice. Finally, the room was empty. Just a plain wooden chair facing a mirror. But the mirror didn't show me. It showed the house. From the outside, through the upstairs hall window. And in that reflection, I saw myself standing there, staring out at me. But I wasn't alone. Something stood behind my reflection, tall, bent, its hand resting on my shoulder. And as I watched, it leaned close and whispered into my ear. I couldn't hear the words, but my reflection smiled. I ran. Down the stairs, out the door, never looked back. When I told my friends what I saw, they laughed. Said the beer had messed with me. Said the house was just some weird old property. But then they started disappearing, one by one. 3 months later, all 4 of the people who'd gone inside with me were gone. Vanished. No trace, No bodies, no explanations. It's been 10 years. The house is still there. Same trimmed grass, same glowing light at night. But now, sometimes when I walk past, I see me in the upstairs window, staring down, smiling, with something tall, bent, and patient standing behind me. I swore I'd never go back, but last week someone left a note under my door, not slipped under, but tucked inside the lock. Just one sentence, written in neat block letters. You forgot your room. At first I laughed it off. A prank maybe. Old story still floating around. But then my phone gallery started filling with pictures. Not new ones. Old ones. Pictures I know I never took. Me at 10 years old holding my broken lamp. Me at 15, standing next to a bedspread my mother threw away. Me last year, asleep in my own room. Each photo looked like it had been taken through the crack of a door. And in the corner of every one, the edge of that same wooden chair. I couldn't take it anymore. I went back. The house looked the same as ever, but this time the front door was open, waiting. The air was colder, heavier. The kitchen table was set for two. 2 cups of tea, steam rising like someone knew I was coming. Upstairs, the light in the hall flickered. Every door hung open wider than before. Inside, the rooms weren't just imitations of my childhood anymore. They were wronger. The posters showed bands that never existed. The books had my name on the spines, but titles I'd never written. One bed had a lump under the blanket, breathing. When I touched it, the lump deflated like dust. At the end of the hall, I found the chair again, and the mirror. But now the mirror didn't show the house. It showed a room that wasn't mine, but could have been. Everything in it was slightly too perfect. Cleaner, brighter, safer. And sitting on the bed was me. Not just a reflection, another me. He smiled when he saw me, and then he said, "Trade." The walls groaned, that slow, dragging breath again, pulling me closer to the glass. I stumbled back, ran for the door, but the hallway twisted. Stairs bent sideways, rooms folded into themselves like paper burning. And behind it all, the sound of something tall and bent dragging its limbs across the floor, following me. I made it out. Barely, I think. But when I got home, my key didn't fit the lock. The furniture inside my apartment isn't mine. The pictures on the walls aren't of me. And my neighbors, they call me by a different name. The house didn't just wait, it followed.